Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rabbi.
We are learning Mishna Gittin. Parag Gimel, Chapter 3, Mishnah 4. Okay, so we've been discussing until now the concept of chazaka, where we say that when we leave this person, and he may be elderly, may be sick, but at the end of the day, we left him alive, so we assume he's alive until we know things have changed, and therefore the shliach, the agent, can deliver the get that this person sent to his wife, assuming that he's alive, because if you left him alive, you can assume that he's still in that state. Now, here we're going to expand upon that. Shleish devarim, Omer Rebbe Elazar ben Parta lefnei chachamim. There were three things that the sage Rebbe Elazar the son of Parta said before the sages. V'kimu es devarav, and they upheld his words, meaning they followed that, they paskin like that, they agreed, and they followed his words. So here we go. Al ir she'kifa karkaim, a city that was surrounded by an army. Okay, it's under siege. Okay, now when in these situations, it started with a siege and then it ended with a slaughter. Okay, so but right now the stage is there's a siege. So ir shikifa karkum, regarding a city that was surrounded by an army, valasafina mitaref es bayam, or a boat that is being battered at sea by a storm. Okay, not a good situation to be in. Valayoytse lidain, or he's being taken out to be judged for a crime punishable by death. Okay, now in all these cases, there's a woman, there's a wife to these people. These people are in these situations. The wife is somewhere else, and let's say these people, somebody under these situations sent a get to his wife. Okay, so now the question is, can the shliach can he deliver the get? Can we assume that they're still alive under these very precarious situations? And the answer is, he said about these people, they're on the status of being alive. Although the situation is not a great one, nonetheless, at this point, they can still assume that they are alive. The agent can deliver the get. If to say this is a woman married to a Kohen, she continue eating truma. Okay. You have a city that already was actually conquered. It was captured by an army. And it fell into the hands of the army. Usavina sha'avda bayam, or a ship that was lost at sea. It sunk. Or somebody that was already convicted, meaning he's not being judged, he's already been convicted of a crime that's going to carry the punishment of death. So the wording is hayetze leharik. He's going out to be killed, which sounds like they're taking him to the to where he's going to be killed. But they bring down here in the notes, even if he's not yet being led out to the place of execution, as long as he's already been convicted and sentenced to death, he is considered a person going out to be executed. Okay? Now, so what happens in these situations? Naisnin aleim chumrei chayim v'chumrei mesim. In these cases, we put upon them, meaning upon the wives of the people in this situation, the stringencies of those alive and the stringencies of those who are dead. Meaning we don't know what the status here is. We don't assume that they're dead. We have a suffix, we have a doubt, and therefore we have to apply the stringencies of both if they are alive or if they're dead. Which means, Bas Yisrael l'Kohen, a daughter of a non-Kohen married to a Kohen, Ubas Kohen Yisrael, and a daughter of a Kohen married to a Yisrael, Lo Yisroicha but Truma, they cannot eat Truma. And what that means is like this. We know, as we mentioned before, the wife of a Kohen can eat Truma. Once the Kohen dies, and she has no descendants from him, then the halacha is she can't eat anymore. So, on the question of maybe he died, on the question of maybe he died, she can't eat Truma anymore. And she won't be able to, at a doubt. Now, the other way, if let's say a daughter of a Kohen who ate Truma while she was still in her father's house marries a Yisrael, the halacha is that she doesn't eat Truma anymore. But the halacha is, though, that let's say the husband dies and she has no children from him. The halacha is, she has no children from him. The halacha is, the Torah says she can go back to her father's house and eat Truma. Okay? But if she's still married to this guy because he's alive, then she can't. So therefore, we apply her the stringency of her husband being alive, which says that she cannot go ahead and go back to eat truma from her father. Mm-hmm. Now, truma are examples. There are other pertinent halachas here too, which means, if he may be alive, she can't remarry, right? If an agent is bringing her a get, he can't give it to her because the husband may be dead, and there's no more get, and there's no more possibility of a get anymore. So in these cases that we just say the city was conquered, the boat sank, he's going to be taken out to be killed, it's a suffix. It's not a vadai. It's not for sure. Now, how do we explain that? So the answer is, I'll read here from the notes. When a city is conquered, its people are not usually all killed. No, there's going to be a slaughter, but it doesn't mean that no one's going to survive. And it's possible that the survivor is her husband. Okay, and therefore we cannot assume that he's dead. Okay, even when a ship sinks, there are sometimes survivors. Okay, similarly, even if a person who is on his way to his execution is not always put to death, meaning, we spoke about the person convicted, right? Or literally the person is being taken out to be executed. So we're not going to assume that he's a goner? The answer is no. And the way the Gemara explains it is in two ways. According to one opinion, the Mishnah is speaking about someone who was convicted by a Jewish court. Since they must continue looking for reasons to find the defendant innocent, even as he is taken out to be executed, it is possible that they found one and let him go. Meaning, we don't know. It's not like we know that he was executed. We know that he was being taken out. We know he was convicted. But we don't know whether he was actually executed or not. So even though he's being taken out to the place of execution, so one explanation of the Gemara is, one opinion of the Gemara is, we're talking about a Jewish court. A Jewish court has to always be trying to find a way to get this a way out of having to execute this person. And since to the very end they're going to be doing that, maybe they did it. Maybe it worked out. Because they found a way of getting him out of it. Yeah. Others learn that the Mishnah is speaking about someone who was convicted by a non-Jewish court. Since their judges often took bribes, we must suspect that the judges may have been bribed by his family or friends to overturn his death sentence. So even if the death sentence was given, and even if he's on his way out, there's always a possibility of the judge changing his mind. And therefore, although, again, there's no more chazak on this person. The chazaka that he was alive before, and we can assume he's still alive, we don't have that chazaka. We cannot remain with that original status because the situation has definitely changed to a point that we just can't rely on that anymore. There's a certain point of time where even if things don't become clear, but the doubt is very strong, so then we can't rely on the chazaka, we can't rely on original status, and we're left with a doubt. And in these cases, we're also left with a doubt. And therefore, the Mishnah says we have to apply to these women the stringencies of whether the husband is alive or dead, because it is suffix. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi.